If you're married, or you ever plan to be, I want you to think about your toughest moment together. Maybe it was a huge fight that dragged on for days. Or maybe it was a heavy silence that lasted for weeks. Now, try to imagine God looking at you both in that exact moment and saying, "This is your chance. This is your opportunity to show the world what my son is like." That's exactly what the Apostle Paul does in Ephesians chapter 5. He takes the most sacred human relationship we have, marriage, and says it's meant to be a living, breathing portrait of the gospel. But here is the interesting part. The way we paint that picture isn't what most of us would expect. Let's look at the standard. Verse 25 says, "Husbands, love your wives, as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." Paul doesn't start by saying, "Husbands, be a decisive leader." He doesn't say, "Provide for your family financially." He says, "Love like Jesus." And how did Jesus love? He gave himself up. Let that really sink in for a moment. This isn't just about romantic gestures. This is cruciform love shaped like a cross. The cross wasn't convenient for Jesus. It didn't protect his comfort or his reputation. He emptied himself completely. That's the standard we're called to. So what does this Christ-like love actually look like? Let me give you 3 ways this love moves. And these aren't just steps on a list. They're a lifestyle. First, there's sacrificial love. We see it right there in verse 25. Christ's love was sacrificial. He literally gave his life. For husbands, this means your personal preferences aren't sacred. Your career isn't the center of the universe. Your desperate need to be right all the time, you have to let that die. Sacrificial love constantly asks the question, what does she need from me right now? Not, what am I getting out of this? This is the husband who does the dishes when he's exhausted, simply because he knows she's even more exhausted. It is the man who holds his tongue in an argument because winning the point isn't he worth wounding her heart. It's giving up your Saturday golf game, not because she's controlling you, but because nurturing her is far more important than nurturing your hobby. Second, there's a cleansing love. Paul goes deeper in verses 26 and 27. Christ gave himself up, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word. Your words have washing power. Every time you speak to your wife, you're either washing away her shame or you're piling more on. You're either helping her see herself the way God sees her, holy and cherished, or you re-smudging that beautiful image with criticism, contempt, or just cold indifference. Men, let's be honest. We are often much better at correcting than we are at cleansing. But Paul is clear. Our words should make her feel more whole, not more broken. Yes, we speak the truth, but it must be a truth that heals, not a truth that wounds. Ask yourself this. Does my wife feel safer, cleaner, and more loved after we talk? Or does she walk away feeling weighed down? Third, there's a nourishing love. In verses 28 and 29, Paul says we should love our wives as their own bodies. Because no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it. Think about it. You feed yourself automatically. You protect yourself instinctively. You don't need a reminder to take care of your own body. Paul says that's the baseline. Nourishing love pays attention. It notices when she's depleted and actually does something about it. It cherishes, which means it treats her as something priceless, not ordinary. It is the difference between maintaining a car you own and protecting a priceless painting you're regarding for a king. Your wife is the painting. Now, here's where this all gets very real. If you're a husband listening to this, you're probably feeling a bit convicted. That's a good thing. But please, don't turn this into a try harder to-do list. This passage isn't a checklist. It's a mirror. When we see the stunning love of Christ clearly, we also see our own failure to love that way. And that's the whole point. We can't love like this on our own. We're too selfish, too tired, too broken. The only way to love your wife like Christ is to first let yourself be loved by Christ, to let his love wash you, nourish you, and present you spotless before the Father. So stop striving and start resting. Let the good news of the gospel fill you up until it overflows. And then, out of that abundance, give yourself up. Not perfectly, but intentionally. Because when a husband loves like Christ, a marriage becomes so much more than just a contract. It becomes a living, breathing picture of the gospel. And our world desperately needs to see that. Thanks for watching.